Hello, today I'll be covering subtraction of integers. Start off, -3 minus 4. So on a number line, you'd start at -3. Since it's -4, I have to go left 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, which equals -7. Now subtraction has the same rules as of addition. Same sign, add them, keep the same sign. Opposite signs, subtract them. Keep the sign of the larger absolute value. But there's going to be one more rule, like when we had a positive and a negative sign next to each other, it was a negative basically. Well, I'll get to that when we get to an example of it. So for A, what's 4 minus 4? 0. When they're easy like that, do not confuse yourself by trying to remember the rules. The rules are for when they're more difficult. Like 6 minus 9. Well, this is positive, this is negative, so they have opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract them. 9 minus 6 is 3. The larger value is 9, which is negative, so it's -3. Now part C, -5 minus 7. They have the same sign, they're both negative, so I'm going to add their values. 5 plus 7 is 12. Since they're both negative, my answer will be negative. So -5 minus 7 is -12. Now this is the one that I was talking about. In addition, when we had a positive and a negative sign next to each other, it was the same as subtraction. Well, when we have two negative signs, if you remember to Introduction to Integers, the opposite of an opposite is just a positive. So in order to work these problems out, whenever there's two negatives next to each other like this, that becomes a positive. So D goes from 4 minus -5 to 4 plus 5, which equals 9. So example 2 just throws a mix of everything in. When I'm doing problems like these, the first thing I do is get rid of all the double signs next to each other. This sign's by itself, this sign's by itself, but these two negative signs are next to each other. So I'm going to simplify them to a positive. So now I'm just going to work left to right as order of operation tells us. -10 minus 6 is, well, they have the same sign, so I add them, so 16, keep the same sign, so -16 plus 9. Now -16 plus 9, they have opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract them. 16 minus 9 is 7. The larger of the two values is 16. 16 is negative, so our final answer of simplifying this expression is -7. Now example 3, evaluate x minus y if x equals -7 and y equals -11. So the first thing you do is substitute your values in for x and y. So -7 minus -11. Again, the first step I like to do is simplify signs that are right next to each other. So two negatives make a positive. Now these two numbers do have different signs now. Because they have different signs, I have to subtract them. 11 minus 7 is 4. Now the larger value is 11. Since the 11 is positive, my answer will be positive, so +4. Now example 4 is a word problem, a simple one. Find the difference of -8 and -20. Now the word difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. And wherever you see the word difference of, you know you are going to put a subtraction sign wherever the word and is. So for this, difference of -8, well that's just a number. And since it says difference of, this and means subtract -20. Again, two negative signs next to each other make a positive. Now, negative 8 plus 20. They have opposite signs. Because of that, I'm going to subtract them. So 20 minus 8 is 12. Now, the larger of the values is 20, and it's positive, so this answer is going to be positive 12. Now on to like a real-life application problem, something that people do every day. Example 5. Eddie has $1,000 in his checking account. He deposits $100, but then he writes checks for $300, $612, and $209. What is his ending balance? First thing I do is I start off with, how much did he have? He had $1,000. And then he deposited $100. So does that mean he put money in or take money out? Well, deposit means he put money in, so that's a positive 100. Then when you write checks, does that mean you're taking money out or putting money in? Well, if you're writing a check for someone, you're taking money out of your account. So that means minus 300, minus 612, minus 209. Now, since it's all addition and subtraction, I'm going to work left to right. 1,000 plus 100, 1,100. Then everything else, I'm just going to write down as it was. Now I have 1,100 minus 300, which is 800. And again, everything else just stays the same. Now 800 minus 612. They have opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract them. And I'm going to do that over here. I need to borrow. 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 1 is 8. 7 minus 6 is 1. So that's 188 minus 209. Down to here, again, they have opposite signs, so I have to subtract them. So 209 minus 188. 9 minus 8 is 1. Have to borrow. 10 minus 8 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0. So 21. Now, because I subtract them, I have to look at the larger value. 188 or 209. 209 is larger, so I have to keep the sign of negative. So his ending balance is negative $21. So that means he has to go to the bank and deposit some money before he gets an overdraft fee. I hope this was helpful, and have a nice night.